Welcome to Raj Technologies. Myself Raj. In online C language course, we have done up to now 12 days where we have completed the basics and we have seen example programs using printf and scanf. We discussed about operators, if statements, switch statement, while loop, do while loop, for loop, and even we have discussed arrays like one-dimensional array and two-dimensional arrays. Today we are going to see very important concept, that is functions. Day 13, functions. Here we call it as user defined functions. Up to now we have used printf, scanf functions. They are all predefined. So C language has given these functions to us. Now we want to create our own functions. That concept only we call user defined functions. You can define a function like a function is a subprogram, means a part of the program which is used to do a specific task. It is used to do what? A specific task. The need of going with functions is functions are used to reduce the complexity of the application. So because we are going to divide and work, instead of developing the complete whole application, we divide and work, which we call a function. So in that way, it is going to reduce the complexity of your application. Then it is used like parallel working. Suppose in your application, we have totally divided into 5 functions. One function can be given to one more programmer. So parallel working. Then reusability. So even we are going to get the reusability, means I can use the function again and again. Now let us understand with an example the need of going with functions. Like example, here we want to draw a line. I want to draw a line of something like 40 hyphens. Then we want to display a message welcome. Again we want to draw a line of 40 hyphens. Just I'm mentioning the number 40 hyphens. Now, how to write this code without using functions? So we'll write, we start with main, then take a variable I, and we take a for loop for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 40. Since we want to print 40 hyphens, then I plus plus. Then what we have to do? Printf hyphen. So this is going to print 40 hyphens for us. So this line will be displayed. Next I want to display welcome. So go with the message printf /n welcome /n. Now again we want to print 40 hyphens. So again what I should do? We are write again for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 40, I plus plus. Then write here printf hyphen. Right? So this is the way we write in main method to do this task, to get the output in this format. If you observe in this code, this for loop is repeated. This code, this line of code, this piece of code is repeated. So what is the task they are doing? They are simply drawing the 40 hyphens. Now what I can do? Instead of writing the code in this way, we can use functions. Using functions, how to write that above code is, you can write like this. Create one function, print line, like this. So how to create a function? Simply mention the name of the function like main only. Instead of main, you can go with your own name and parenthesis. Then open and close curly braces. Now take the logic here. So int I for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 40, I plus plus. Then we'll write here printf hyphen. That's it. This is my logic. So what is the task of println function now? Which is going to print hyphens from 1 to 40. It's going to draw a line of 40 hyphens. So this is the task. So whatever the task I'm doing, that I kept in function now. Now what I should do? Go with main function. Then here Okay. Whenever you want to draw the line, call here print line. That's it. This only we call calling the function. So whenever you say print line, the control will jump to this print line function and this code will get executed. Now we want to display welcome. So again you can say printf /n welcome /n. Again I want to draw the line. Again we'll say a print line. So whenever we say print line, this code will get executed. So once you create a function, this code, this function is reusable. Like whenever you want to draw the line, just to call the function, the code will become reusable. So that's the main advantage here, reusability. Now, let me write the complete program. Function example 1.c. Open developer C++, create a new source file, and write #include stdio.h. The main function. Here we'll call print line. Again, we want to display the message printf /n welcome /n. Now again, you want to draw the line, print line. Now we can define the function like this. Print line, any name, parenthesis. Now put the logic here. int I for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 40, I plus plus. Then now write here printf hyphen. That's it. So it's going to print 40 hyphens. Now save this file. Function example.1.c. Now compile and run. Go to execute, compile and run. See the output here. So it's drawing the line 40 hyphens, displaying welcome message and drawing the line 40 hyphens. Right? I can write this function above main or below main. We can even if you write the function above main also, it is valid only. No problem at all. See here. We can compile and run. So we get the same result. So whenever you are defining functions, either I can define the function above the main or below the main. Anything is fine. It's valid only. When you run the program, the entry point is main. The entry point will become main function. Then once you call print line, it will go to this printline function. The code will get executed. So this is the way to write our own functions in C language. Now let us go with the new requirement. Now we want to get the output like this. I want to draw 40 hyphens, then welcome message. I want to draw 40 hyphens, then welcome message. Then now I want to draw 60 hyphens, then hello message. Now we want to draw 20 hyphens. Like this. Means the number of hyphens are differing. Then how will you manage this code? So whenever I call this print line, it is going to print only 40 hyphens. But my objective is I want to draw 40 hyphens, 60 hyphens and 20 hyphens. Then how to manage that one is, so whenever we write this print line, we need to pass the number of hyphens you want to print. See here, you have to write the code like this. Main. Now we want to draw 40 hyphens. So you call the function print line and pass this 40. Display the message welcome. Now again you want to drop 60 hyphens. So call the function print line of 60. Now go with the message printf /n hello /n. Now we want to drop 20 hyphens. So again you can say print line of 20. So the value what you are passing to this print line, this 40, this we call it as argument. So when you call the function, we can even pass the argument to the function. Then how to write this print line function? See, print line. Now take the value here, int n, meaning when you call this print line of 40, this 40 will come and store into this n. Now write the logic int I. Now write here for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n now. I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Now what will happen? When I call this println of 40, 40 will come and store into n, then it's going to draw 40 hyphens. So since I equal to n, 40 hyphens. Now write here printf hyphen. That's it. Now, so when I call println of 40, 40 will come to n, then it's going to draw 40 hyphens. Comes back and displays will come. Again println of 60, 60 will come and store into n. So the for loop will repeat for 60 times. It's going to draw 60 hyphens. Again, it's going to print the message hello. Then println of 20, 20 will come and store into n. Then the for loop will repeat for 20 times, which is going to draw 20 hyphens. So we can even pass the argument. So this n is called as argument, or even we call parameter. Let me write the complete code. Refer program function example 2 dots. Create a new file. Hash include stdio.h. Main function. Now I want to draw print line of 40. Display the message welcome. Now we want to draw print line of 60. Display the message hello. Now we want to draw print line of 20. Now define the function println, which takes argument n. Now write the logic int I for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, we should say now, I plus plus. Now printf hyphen. So this based on the value what you pass, it's going to draw the number of hyphens. Function example2.c. Now compile and run. See here, we are getting the first 40 hyphens, welcome, then 60 hyphens, then hello, then 20 hyphens. So based on the value what you pass, it's going to draw the number of hyphens for us. Based on this, so we are having the concept like types of functions. So we are having the different types of functions like functions without arguments and without return value. So if you take this first example, this function println, does it taking any arguments? No. So it's not having any arguments and no return value. It's not returning any value back to us. The next type is functions with arguments. Functions with arguments and without return value. It's taking the argument. See, this is the example, println of int n. So this is taking the argument but not having any return value. It's not returning any value outside. Then third category, it's very, very important. Functions with arguments. Functions with arguments and return value also. Functions with arguments and return value. So this last category is very important and widely used. Now let us understand more on this third one using the example code. So the program is, write a program to find area of a rectangle using functions. I want to find area of a rectangle using functions. So we'll go with the program. Area rect function.c. Open developer C++, create a new source file, hash include stdio.h, main function. Now, so here let us define the function here, area. I'm taking the function name area. So to find area of rectangle, what data we require? Length and breadth. Length and breadth. Now, so we are defining the function area. Now, in the main function, take the variables int length, comma breadth, comma area. Now go with the message printf enter length and breadth values. We'll store it into scanf %d comma and length comma and breadth. Now once we accept these values, these two values, length and breadth values, I need to pass to this area function. So call the function here. Area, pass this length comma breadth. Pass this length and breadth. So you can even say area rect like this. To avoid confusion, let me give the name function name area rect. So to this I am passing length and breadth. So whatever the value we accept length value, that will come and store into length. The breadth value what you accept, that will come and store into breadth. Now what I need to do? For example, I am passing 10 and 5. So 10 into 5, 50. So what is the formula? Take the variable int area equal to int area equal to, what's the formula? Length into breadth. So if I take length as 10, breadth as 5. So when I call the function area rect, 10 will come and store into length, 5 will come and store into breadth. Then the value of area will be 50. So this result, this area, I want to give back to this function. So whatever the result we are getting from function, if I want to give that value back to the function, we have to use a keyword return area. So when you say return area, this area 50 will come and store into this function. So directly you can print, or you can even store it into some other variable like this. int area equal to area rect. So in our example, 10 into 5, 50. 50 will come and store into this function. I am assigning to area. Print this. Printf area of rectangle equal to %d, the value of area. That's it. Okay. Now, since we are returning this area is what data type? Integer. This area is what data type? Integer. So before the function name, we have to mention the data type what you are returning. So mentioning the data type before the function name what you are returning, this is optional in C language. Mentioning return type before function name is optional in C language. But if you take C++, Java.NET, it is mandatory, compulsory. We have to mention the return type what you are returning. Okay, now see. Let me save this file. Area rect function.c. Now see. Compile and run. So here we have to, already we have declared variable area now. So now to declare here again. Now compile and run. So it is asking, see, enter length and breadth values 25, 10. So it's going to print area of rectangle as 250. So we have written the code using functions. So once I create the function like this, I can use this function in any other program. So this is the category falls under this. Functions with arguments and return value. Then let me take one more example. Write a program to display multiplication table for a given number. I want to display multiplication table for a given number. So what is the number we give? We have to display the table. So already we know this task. Let us write this code using functions. So we'll take here mtable function.c. Open developer C++. Create a new source file. Hash include stdio.h main function. Then we require the number from user. We'll accept the number from user. Then we'll go with the message printf enter a number. Scanf %d comma and n. Once we accept the number, for this number we want to print table. So we'll call the function mTable and pass this number. Now write the function mTable, which takes n as argument. Now put the logic here. So what is the logic? We have to take the variables like I comma p, then take a for loop, I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 10, I plus plus. Already we discussed the logic of this. Just we are writing the code in the form of functions. Now take p equal to n into I. How to find product? N into I will give p. So this is our n value. So if I pass mTable of 5, 5 will come and store here. This will print the table for 5. So how to print? Print slash n percentage d into percentage d into percentage d equal to percentage d. Then what are the values here? N comma I comma p. That's it. N comma I comma p. So here, what is the category it falls under? mTable. I'm taking argument, but do you have any return type here? No. So I'm not returning any value. Directly I'm printing. So this function comes under which category? Function with arguments but no return value. So if you are not returning any value outside the function, then we have to use a keyword void. Void means no return type. Void means what? No return type. But in the case of C language, mentioning return type is optional. Even you are not writing this return type, it's going to work. But remember the meaning of void, which we use in other programming languages like Java. So when we will be keep on using void, void means no return type. Now save this file. mTable function dot c. Now execute this, compile and run. It will ask for a number. If I say 5 or any number, it's going to print the table for that number. If you compile and run, if I take some 25, it's going to print the table for 25. But what we have done, we have used the functions to do this logic. Right? Now, how my code can become reusable? So, how to make it reusable? So, once you write the code, I want to print the numbers from 1, I want to print tables from 1 to 10. So here only I'm writing the logic here. I'm keeping this code in comments. Now what I want to do, I want to print the tables from 1 to 10. So take for n equal to 1, n less than or equal to 10, n plus plus. Now call the function mTable of n. That's it. So once I call the function mTable of n, this function is called totally how many times? 10 times, because I'm repeating the number for 10 times. So this is going to print the table from 1 to 10. See here. When you compile and run, see it's printing the tables. First table, second table, third table, fourth table, like this. Okay, up to 10th table. Now the objective is, once I print one table, once we print one table, so until you press a key, it should not display the second table. Okay, so after printing one table, we'll go with a message printf, press any key to conclude. We'll keep this code. Inside the function, we'll keep it. Press any key to continue. Then, so to pass our screen, we use getCH. GetCH means that it's going to pass our screen. Until you press any key, it won't call the function again. The loop will not get repeated. See, check it here. Now see. Let me execute, compile and run. See, it's printing the first table. Only when I press any key, you can press any key, then only it's coming second table. Any key you can press on your keyboard, third table. fourth table. Like that it continues. Okay, then once it completes all the numbers, then it's going to come out. So what is the use of getch? To pass our screen, to wait for user input. Getch is like get character, but it can read any character, but it won't require to accept any enter key press. So you need not press enter key to read that value. That's the use of getch. Okay, so whenever you want to pass the screen for some time until you press some key, we make use of this function getch. Right? So please practice this. Very, very important. And in next session, we'll see some more examples using function, and even we'll discuss the very important concept storage classes. We'll even discuss storage classes in C language. Right? Thank you very much. Thank you all.